Good evening. I'm Dr. Charles Foster with Fostering Wellness, and this is your Wellmentum Moment. I want to talk about age tonight. I'm going to actually date myself and show you a little bit about my age. I remember when these were popular. When computers first came out, they had something called, paired with them, it was a dot matrix printer. And so it was all the rage to take a photograph of a loved one or a famous piece of art like this Mona Lisa here, and to digitize it, and through using computer symbols, exclamation points, ones and twos and X's and O's, and putting them in different concentrations on the page, that you could actually create this kind of image. This is a dot matrix image of Mona Lisa. This one here it reminds me, it could be a cousin of one of us or a younger sister or something like this. But this was very typical of artwork in the 80s done on computer. So how do I get there and talk about aging? Well, here's the thing. I want to ask you a couple of questions. Do you realize that your cells reproduce themselves over and over and over again in your life? Your skin cells are reproducing, your eyes, your heart, your bowels, your bladder, your spleen, your kidneys, they're all reproducing themselves over and over and over again. Think about this then. If you could reproduce all of those cells as they are right now, again and again and again, if they reproduce themselves perfectly, just as they were yesterday, they are tomorrow, do you realize that that would mean we wouldn't age? Because here's the thing. In genetics, they talk about the aging process and the sickness process, the getting cancer process. All those things are the result of something called transcription errors. Transcription errors it's represented by a cell that's supposed to reproduce itself, but it turns into something else tomorrow when it arrives. And it reproduces itself again in error, and it may change again and get worse. So I want to use these pictures to make this point. Here's the deal. If you've got this software on your computer and you've got the dot matrix printer or whatever, and you printed this picture out, you could reproduce it 10 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, and it would always look the same. It wouldn't age, it wouldn't change. But if there's a corruption in the software of your computer, then there would be a small error. And if that corruption got bigger, that error would multiply. And eventually it's possible that we would not recognize this as the Mona Lisa or this as our distant cousin. Health is the same way. We are able to influence the software, our DNA, by the things that we eat, the activities we participate in, the way we manage our stress, getting chiropractic adjustments, exercising. All of those things are things that tend to help us reproduce ourselves perfectly, helping us to last longer, to live longer. So I want you to think about this. When you look in the mirror tonight or tomorrow morning and you see a person who's getting older, you are looking at the accumulation of transcription errors over the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years. My challenge is to you, what are you going to do to change your behavior so when you look in the mirror tomorrow and the next day and 5 years from now, you see very little change? Have you done the things necessary to limit the transcription errors? So give us a call if you'd like to know more about how to stay younger, how to live longer and live better. This is Fostering Wellness, and this has been your Wellmentum Moment.